Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today on Pond Badger Outdoors, we're really going to try to get Willie here and spend the night. It's supposed to be like +3 tonight, and it's supposed to go, about 13, 14 above today. We pulled a sled in this morning. It was really easy this morning because we had a nice crust. So what I'll do is, on the next clip, I'll just give you guys a little rundown of the gear we brought today. I brought the marting top, and I brought a little bit of gear in the sled just because, well, I want to be comfortable. So anyway guys, if you're not doing nothing for a while, we're going to have a nice camp video here tonight, I think. Feels like it's going to be. Weather's beautiful, and hopefully we'll have no issues with Willie with the wood stove. So anyway guys, if you've got nothing to do, stay tuned. Thank you. So today guys, this is what we got going on. A little stove. I put a small little ridgeline food bag I'll hang later. Just got Willie some food because that was last minute. Throw him in some packs, and I've got a couple, enough to make a couple grilled cheese later. And just a little ridgeline, camera gear, light, things like that. And we brought in a little pelican, doctored up, and conifer, and our one tigress cot, and the old marting top is still rocking, guys. You know, the only complaint I ever had on this is on this harness, the top, these straps would slip. So all I did is I tied them in a knot and I sewed them, and I've never had no more issues with this backpack. None of the others are slip, and it carries a nice load. I brought a wool blanket, and that's just our stove bag, wood, and that's water in there. I do have a can of beer, and these are what I'm using for tent stakes today, guys, because believe it or not, despite what this looks like, I came in here yesterday, and believe it or not, yesterday when I came in, you'll have to forgive me because I'm running this on a battery. I came in here yesterday, me and Willie, that was our first trip in, and we came in with just a small backpack just to check the area and stuff like that, because we camped here with my grandsons, and we did s'mores here on a summer camp. So I didn't know about how much snow would be left in the woods, and I shoveled this area here with the little blue shovel here yesterday morning, and I got it down to here, but then you can really see like how deep the snow is. So I cut a bunch of these stakes here, just like this, and you'd be surprised at how far down they go. And that's why I brought the hatchet again today, is just to drive them down. And what I'm hoping is I'm going to set some sticks down on the ground, and I brought some tin foil because I'm going to put the stove on the small sticks, small logs, whatever, and I'm going to put a couple layers of tin foil, and believe it or not, that'll stop the but in my defense, once I do put the tent up, I don't believe Willie and I will need much of a fire. So that's going to be a good thing. It's nice being out here today and being able to hear the birds. And wherever I had a trail yesterday, you see it froze. And that was what I was hoping, because I came in yesterday with snowshoes. And the second time I came in with my snowshoes. First time I used my wife's, just because they're lighter and smaller, but they don't distribute the weight very well. So it's great for her now. I mean, my wife's lighter, so it's great, but like, it's just I just thought I would try it. So anyways, I went back to the old faithful and wore my the Canadian military ones there, the white ones, and those distribute the weight really well. So they made a nice trail, and this is froze pretty good though. So I might have to lay some sticks under the cot legs. I don't know yet, because I am going to use the legs, the full legs. I'm just hoping once they go down they'll freeze. So usually that's what happens. So anyway, guys, feels good to be out here for a camp, an actual camp. Quiet, peace and quiet, and the birds. I guess that's part of my peace and quiet. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to sit in the sun and relax. Give myself a half hour, and then I'm going to work and set us up a village. And all I did here is just put a piece of this bait line, bank line, whatever you want to call it, and a little toggle. Look how tiny that toggle is. And that's just awesome. It's just like a little shelf here. I did bring my puffy jacket, guys. That's my, just in case. And this I was going to bring anyway, because I do have a habit of, I put this mat down on the cot, and I put a wool blanket over it. Not that I need it, I don't know, I like it, because sometimes at night I just cover up with the wool blanket if it's warm. And in this red tuck tape, that roll of tuck tape was 15 bucks at Canadian Tire. I think 14. Anyways, something, it was close. And you know, I am stuck back in the 80s, guys, I will admit, for a lot of things. Prices and things my wife tells me. Mike? Anyways, I get it. But anyways, I'll admit, I think that might have been the best $15 I spent, because it's been keeping this sled alive. And I lined the box of this, because what this is that stove that I like to put on, or sorry, this is the fan that I like to put on top of the stove. And as the stove resonates heat, it turns. I like that a lot. And then just my cookware. And yes, guys, if you do watch the channel, I do have a brand new little stove. Come on, Bob. Come on, buddy. Come on. I do have a new little stove. And the other one I tossed in the garbage. If you watched the last little video where me and Willie was out cooking under a tarp, and it flamed up for the last time. So anyways, I bought one kind of almost just like it, and believe it or not, it was half the price. And I tried it at the house when I first got it, and it seems to work really, really, really well. So we're going to field test it here today together for the first time in the field. But yeah, it's by the company Red Camp. And I bought a sleeping bag for my grandson. It was one that you could shorten, but it was an actual sleeping bag. And it's been a good sleeping bag, so I'm hoping this little stove is as good. So anyway, guys, what we're going to do is, that's the area. Back up here. And I did bring the Yuko. That's the old one that I damaged. So yeah, that's going to be our little camp area. So I'll bring you guys back a little bit later when I got camp set up, and I'm just going to kick back here and enjoy us a little morning. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, guys. Thanks for tagging along, guys. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our little channel. Click the like button and leave us some comments, guys. We're no experts, but we have a lot of fun at what we do when we get to do it. And this one's been overdue. And if I can officially, whoa, it's the only thing about these boots. These are United States Marine Corps winter issue, and they come with 2 sets of booties. Gore-Tex booties inside that you can change, and they're waterproof. Oh wow, you know, as combat boots go, these are very good. These are Bates combat boot, but I mean, you will get wet eventually. But my point is, awesome boot. Love them. Very slippery. So okay, me and Willie will touch base back with you guys in a bit. Thanks a lot for tagging along with us, guys. We appreciate it. Alright, guys. Got our camp all set up. Little stove. All ready for tonight. And you can probably tell by my eyes. And we fell asleep in there. We zippered down the tent. Come here, Buck. Come on, Buck. And yeah. Come on, Willie. Got really warm in there. 116 at one time. No, we had a good sleep though. I had a good little sleep. So we're just making up a coffee. And we're going to bring you guys back a little bit later on. Yeah. So we had a good sleep. And Willie did too. Really seen the advantages of the hot tent, the stove. We got a little cook area over here. I'll put that away for later. Supper, I don't know, we're going to keep it simple. Tell you the truth. Just the temperature's nice out today. Yeah, we're just relaxing here a little bit. I'm still a little bit groggy. We got the old stove going. There's nice heat in there. And we are just relaxing. Willie's been doing some good today. I rigged up a leash here, you can see. But I didn't have to use it at all. As long as we stay on the trails that we made earlier, it's fine. Because it's been some quiet in here today. I mean, in the distance you can hear vehicles because we're a couple kilometers from the road. But it's some quiet. And we fell asleep due to it. Because you see, it's that time of the year where you get in the morning, it's really, you know, you can get in on the crust, but then you lose that pretty early on. In the morning, she warms up. down, buddy. piezo works on this one, guys. And it'll go full blast. And it was about half price of the other one. It was about 23 bucks for this one by Red Camp. So I brought the chair today. But I wasn't thinking. A chair isn't much good in this stuff. Okay, that's it, buddy. We gotta save enough for morning for you. And it also came with this. I didn't expect it, but when I opened it up, it was in there. So I guess it kind of makes sense. Because all you really need is a spark. So far Willie's doing really good. And we did go for a walk. Because I knew there was some like most places in the woods, garbage laying around, and I remember that from last year. Well, our stove is kind of wonky because of the heat. We're what you call floating today. And that's why I don't like to do it, is because we set the stove on top of the snow. We packed it down and everything like that, but still, it only gets so good. And really, guys, earlier when I said it was 116 in there, I really wasn't joking. It's so warm right now. Outside it warmed up pretty good late in the afternoon, see? So yeah, we found these old pieces of metal leg, so we're going to set the stove right up on there. Now, we're going to sit here and enjoy our little coffee. fix our little stove before dark. Put it up on those legs, I think. And that should help us. Yeah, it's getting later in the afternoon now, guys. Work is all done. Just taking Willie out for a little walk here. Let him do a little sniffing around. He's been really good today. Walk down to the old road. Come on, bud. Come on, Will. You know, it's almost... Well, it probably is, actually. A year ago, right around this time, if not exactly this time, 2 years ago, we started our little channel. This is the 2nd April. And we've been pucking away at our little videos, doing the best we can. Come on, buddy. Let's go back. Come on. Yeah. Today is just R&R. Really relaxing. Taking our time. Gotta get lots of sleep on this one, I think. Took a nice afternoon nap. That was really nice. And dozed off around, I don't know, woke up I think it was around 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So that was a pretty good sleep. So I just wanted us to take a little walk here. Move the old bones a little bit. What do you think, Willie? What do you think, bud? Good boy. Good boy. So we had a little fire going. I readjusted the stove, and I put those bars down that I showed you guys, those old legs, for a base, and I put tin foil over top, and I did put a little fire in there, but I think I'm gonna let it go out and just do it later on tonight. Get one going, take the chill out. I brought a pack of those fiber logs too, but it's pretty hard to regulate those buggers. Once they get in there and get going, they get going. Sorry guys, I just gotta tie my strap here. Of my gaiters. So yeah, today is not a cold day at all. I think it's like 15 out right now, and it's late in the day. I haven't checked the time in a while, but I think it's 6:30, something like that, and it is just gorgeous. This is, believe it or not, this is the nicest day this spring so far. We're lucky enough to get out in it. We've got some nice spots here where the sun hits, you see, all along here. And today I had my old Harley sweatshirt shirt on, and my little Adidas. And I think Willie's gonna lay on my puffy jacket. It's really, really nice to get out in the woods when it's quiet like this. Nobody else out here. Hear them in the distance. Here's some sleds. One sled, I should say. Yeah, Willie could be on a mouse hunt. Just clearing the lens, guys. But yeah, we've had our snacks. We've had some, Willie has one pouch left and one treat for morning, because I had my wife had bought him some of these little pouches of moist food, and yeah, so he's had 2 of those today. I brought 3, and I brought him some of his milk bones. When you guys hear me say prizes, that's what triggers him. He knows what that means. But he's pretty much just got enough now for morning. And he did have a nice sleep this afternoon in there, so I'm hoping that, you know, tonight it'll, with the temperature drop and all, because it's supposed to drop down to about, well, it's supposed to stay nice out though. It's supposed to be like 2 above, 3 above through the night, so that's pretty good. So yeah, he's Buffy up there, monkey with some mice. What do you got up there, buddy? Get some mice? Man, it's nice out. Come on, buddy, let's go back to camp. Come on, bud. We'll bring you guys usually a couple times a year right down there. Random, but I usually see a big black bear. So I'm thinking he's got a den over in there somewhere, which makes sense because that's the old train tunnel. Come on, buddy, prizes. So what we're going to do is I'll bring you guys back in a bit. Jesus. When you go right down to your nuts. There's no 2 ways about it. There's a lot of snow in the woods yet. It's deceiving. It doesn't look like it, but we're walking on about 2.5 feet of snow. Home sweet home. Excuse me. Here's that old woodpecker in the distance. Huh? Here's that old woodpecker. I think we heard him when we were taking our nap, didn't we, buddy? This afternoon. Well, guys, we had another peaceful night, and because we was floating on top of the snow, things are starting to settle in there and melt. So one night is kind of the limit, and then she starts to go through on you. Yeah, we heard the coyotes over there last night, right over in there, a couple times. But Willie done some freaking good, guys. Willie did really, really good. He stayed right in his little corner over in there, and I had his blue thing, his styrofoam, his sleeping bag, my jacket, so he was really warm, plus the heat. Every time I'd wake up, I think the coldest got last night was, I think it says 5 above. So that's pretty freaking good. But anyways, I would put a little something in the stove for Willie, and with the fan blowing, it kept him nice. So anyway, guys, it is a nice peaceful morning, and I don't know the time yet. 7 o'clock. I got a brand new flip phone, as you can see. So anyways, yeah. With this phone I can send shorts to YouTube, little short videos through the woods I did yesterday, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to just break straight down camp here. Take the ridge line down. Gather up our gear and head for the house. Try to do some editing and maybe get this one out for the weekend. So guys, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our little channel. Hit the like button. Leave us some comments. It was a nice night. Oh. Slept good, eh, bud?
Yeah, Dad's proud of you, boy. Yeah.
So until next time, guys, keep on camping with the badger. Thanks, guys.